Oops. Wrong button.
We're live. Hey guys, thanks for joining us tonight.
You guys.
Tonight we're talking about motivation as entrepreneurs, but more specifically self-motivation, how to keep yourself motivated instead of looking to outside sources for your motivation, whether it be, your groups that you're in or, friends, family members, what have you. Just learning how to motivate yourself and keep yourself motivated and on task. So I don't know anything about it, so I'm going to let...
So we're looking for audience participation to tell us how to do that.
We're wondering if anybody knows how to do that, and you can come on the show. I was looking to see who all was in the chat. Oh, Maureen, the free pile picker, is still on soft foods. That's not good. Can y'all talk about what to do about haters? I try to stay motivated, but sometimes they get to me real bad. I live with my sister, and she's always so negative.
Don't talk to them.
Ignore her.
Yeah, I don't keep a whole lot of negative people in my...
I think he said he lives with her. Is that what he? I think he said he lives. Yeah, he lives with his sister, and she's always so negative about my Etsy shop, but it beats Walmart. You kind of got to tell her that, and then you kind of need to. It's one of those things that you need to not get your self-worth from what other people think of you. For me, that's the big thing that I see from a lot of people. You're going to have haters. You're going to have people that think what you do is stupid. You know that it's not, and that's kind of what you need to focus on, in my opinion. I mean, is that what you think?
Yep. I don't care what people think.
I really try hard not to.
Yeah, don't ask Deb what she thinks.
Deb will hurt you.
I do not. Well, I'm just being honest. I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
I'll just stop being honest, and I'll smile in your face and talk behind your back. Does that make you feel better?
No.
You're my best friend. I hate that bitch.
I love you.
Yeah, no.
I think so. So what would be your number one self-motivation tool, so to speak, Deb?
Well, my struggles that I have, that I've struggled with for a long time, with even before it was reselling, it was just with anything that I was trying to do. And I think that's a key thing in that the problems that you have go in every part of your life. It's not, I don't know very many people that are like, everything's so awesome, but this one reseller thing, I just can't get myself together. It's kind of, to me, it seems like if you have a difficulty, the difficulty spans across all things. And so I have an issue with, and I think I was talking about that this morning on the show, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like doing that today. I don't feel like doing that right now. I don't feel like doing that tomorrow. And so I really have to try to push over that barrier of it doesn't matter what you feel like doing. You have to do it. And I think that's one thing that I've been trying to instill it's a must. It's not a do I want to or do I not want to, do I feel like it or not feel like it. It's a must of something that I need to do in my day. I need to do these things. If I don't, I'm going to have to go get some crappy job I don't like, and then somebody else is going to be telling me what to do.
Yep. I was trying to see.
So I really have to kind of I have to self-motivate in that area of everything. I mean, that goes with everything. Not just about, do I feel like listing this stuff today? It goes into, do I feel like putting the laundry away? And I don't know if that plays in a lot to the fact that I have a different, I don't have a lot of have-tos. And I think when I get down to it, I'm really good if I'm forced to do something. You know how some people are really good under pressure? Like, if they're forced to do it, they're just stellar. I'm that person. So if I'm not forced to do something, then I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow.
I work a lot better on a deadline. Like, when it comes to crunch time, I'm a whole lot more productive. Like,
and so I think that's why, like, when I was doing listing and stuff, it helped a lot for me to, have the little tally book that I would do, and I would sit there and I would put, 10 little marks, and then I'd cross them off when I got them done, and it was really nice seeing that. It was nice seeing that I had done something, Because there's nothing worse to me than getting to the end of the day and being like, okay, I had 12 hours and I did nothing,
Yep. What about you, Dusty?
I mean, I have a terrible time with motivation. I'm going through kind of a rough spell right now because I've been down and out. Nobody wants to hear about my injury. For those that are new, I broke my ankle, so I went to the doctor today, and they told me, I thought I was going to start putting weight on it. And they took x-rays, and they said, oh, we're doing good, 10 more days. And I'm like, oh, my God, really? I cannot sit in this office chair. I mean, the chair's starting to wear out. And it's just, it's got me in kind of a funk, but I'm having to get, for financial reasons, having to get motivated. FBA is not going to last forever. Eventually, I'm going to run out of stuff there. And so last week, I finally I had to, for me, it's different maybe than it is for some other people because, and we've talked about this before, I'm the sole breadwinner. Like this, if I don't work, we don't eat. If I don't work, we wake up in the morning, the power's shut off. That definitely puts pressure, and for me, that is a motivator. But I also have a real tough time with, like I've done for the last 2 months now, and just kind of sat back and not done a whole lot, and lived off the the spoils of leftover Christmas stuff at FBA, and it's all starting to catch up. So last week I really got off my butt, and the amazing thing is though, for whether it be eBay or Amazon, as much as I get this mental buildup, like, oh my God, I don't want to list anything on eBay. And then the more I think about it, the more I let it kind of drag me down, and it just snowballs. And then the amazing thing is, once I get up and list one item, I get in that groove. It might take 2 items, but I get in that groove, and then I don't know when to stop, and I go for 10 or 12 hours straight. So if I could just get over that mental hurdle of the dread, I guess it is, if I could get over that, I'm totally fine. It's a constant mental battle, But then once I get in it, if I do it for a couple of days, I get into good habits, and I don't dread it anymore. It's just, I tend to be kind of an extremist and let myself get kind of dragged one way or the other, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I can very easily get into a funk, but at the same time, I can very easily pour myself into my business for 30 days straight, 18 hours a day. It's just, which isn't healthy either necessarily, but it's just finding that balance and getting up and,
I've said this like a million times before. I work better when I have a schedule. I do better when I have a schedule. And homeschooling the boys, that helps. That makes, okay, my day starts at this time. I know that I have this, and this that's going to go on. And I know that Johnny will be home at this time, and it kind of helps to have those things laid out. But at the same time, there's a lot of freedom, there's a lot of play in the day. Not, hey, we're going out playing, but there's a lot of play, push one way or the other on our schedule to where, if we don't have, if we don't have to stick to this schedule, I don't have to get them on a school bus, I don't have to do their homework once they get home from school and all that kind of thing. But it helps, and at the same time, it's kind of like, if I don't watch it, we have too much freedom.
Right.
There's too much wiggle room.
But you're also a very, when we've talked about that, you're a chart person. You're an extreme chart person, and like we've talked about before, my wife and I've tried that. It doesn't work for us.
Yeah, that's what it doesn't
I can
work
chart for one day. I can make a schedule, and then my HSC messed up.
It's like, look at my pretty schedule I made.
Say, it's so nice, and then like 8:20 rolls around, and I'm like, oh, I totally missed what I was supposed to do at 8, and then then that moves into 9, and I totally just screwed up the whole day. I better just start over tomorrow.
I don't have times. I have blocks of like 30 minutes this, so that doesn't happen. Like the first homeschool planner I made me cry because of that right there, because I had times, and I was like, okay, 7 to 7:30, 7:30 to 7:45, 7:45 to 8:15, you know what I mean? And I like screwed up. It's like the first day it was done, and it just made me cry, you know, because I completely screwed it up.
I think with me and the way that my life works, you know, I am at home. I've been pretty much mostly at home for, even when I worked regular job, it was very flexible, so I spent a lot of time at home. And then, but the problem that I have trying to manage things is, and I guess now we're going into time management, but that goes a lot along with motivation, because if you know how some people are like, I have 45 minutes, so in that 45 minutes I can do this, 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 and this, right? With me, my brain goes, I have 45 minutes. That's not nearly enough time to do what I need to do. So then I don't do anything. So what I've been working on is I've been pushing to, like today, it was 2 o'clock. I know I have to pick my daughter up at 2:45. So I sat there and I had finished my FBA stuff, and I had finished my shipping for eBay, and I was like, I have 30 minutes. What am I going to do with that 30 minutes? And I sat down and I actually did something with that 30 minutes. And that's not me. That's not something that I normally do. But what I've been trying to do motivational-wise is treat my business like it's our only income. And that's the switch I'm trying to make in my brain, that my income is the only income. And I think that will make a difference to me as far as motivation is concerned.
Is that working?
I just did that today.
Oh.
But I think it worked today, because today I did what, I don't normally do. I sat there, I processed the stuff that I bought last Friday, or whenever I bought it. I think it was Friday. That I bought that stuff from Walgreens for FBA, so I sat there and I labeled it and boxed it, and it's at UPS. And I took all my eBay stuff, and I actually ended up having 6 things to ship out, which is not a lot, but it was something more than it was yesterday. So, and I, shipped those out, and I was done, by like 2 o'clock. There are times previously that those things that I did today would have taken me, 2 days or 3 days or whatever, and I would have fiddled around with it and spent 3 days scanning 40 things. So I think it's working. It's something that I'm going to have to, condition myself to do, but that's my motivation, that I'm trying to flip the switch on, okay, not letting this be, oh, this is just something that I do with my time. No, this is something important.
I had a business coach for a while, and there's a post in the ladies group about it. He had, we had to do this entire long worksheet thing, trying to figure out what our motivation was for our business. And you couldn't just say money, I want to make money, or I want to bring money into the house. It couldn't be anything like that. You had to go really deep and specific. If your motivation was money, it had to be, why do you need money? What is the end game? What is the goal for this money that you're making and stuff? And he said, I made the ladies make a pretty plaque with it, I don't care if you just print it out or whatever, but just make something nice and pretty that you can hang up above your desk. Because the whole point is for you to get down deep enough that when you look at that and you see your why, it will cause you to get moving on those days when you don't want to get up out of the bed, or when you don't feel like shipping, or you don't feel like putting that FBA shipment together, or going sourcing or whatever. When you see that why so blatantly in front of your face, that it will make you go. And that, for me, that is a big thing, you know, and go ahead.
I cut you off.
No, it's fine.
I think that I see a lot of times in the groups people complaining about that they lost their go, they lost their motivation, they lost their this. It is a huge problem with resellers on the, you know, I don't feel like listing all of this stuff today. I don't want it, you know, I lost, you know, I was going so well and then now I don't want to do it anymore. You know, and people are asking, how do I get that back? How do I get that back? And I don't know if anybody has an answer for that. You know,
I tell you one thing, and not to be because I know Ronnie's in the chat. I was just reading the chat, talked about making his Alex Jones conspiracy theory rolling blackout thing. But I do truly believe that Cassini and that eBay look at what activity as far as listing. And I have seen, like right now, my inventory's dead. I'm not selling crap. I also haven't listed anything in a long time. And I know, and this is motivation for me, that if I get on there and I list, I mean, I got all this stuff laying around here. If I just list 3 or 4 or 5 items, or preferably 10 or 12 items, I will see some sales on those other items. The momentum will build. So, you know, for me, that's a motivation. If I'm sitting there, I'm in a funk, nothing's selling, whatever else, then, you know, I know the answer is to list. You know, and if I get in there and I do that, and it never fails while I'm listing, you know, usually an hour or 2 in, it might be something little, a little $4.99 item, but my phone will cha-ching. And to me, that cha-ching noise is a huge motivator. I mean, that's the best thing eBay ever did, was put a cha-ching on the iPhone app, on all the phone apps. But yeah, that's it. You know, if you know, and that's not a guarantee, and there are people that will argue with me, but you know, it's for me, when the more I list, when my inventory's dead and it's stale and it's sitting there, for some reason, when I start listing stuff, everything starts selling. I mean, it's that way every single time. So maybe it is the placebo effect, but hey, it works, and it's selling for some reason. So
well, there's nothing wrong with the placebo effect. If it works, you know, there's nothing wrong with it.
I think another thing to do, you know, is if you get tired with your business and you're losing your motivation, like I was saying that, you know, just a couple weeks ago, that I was getting tired with what I was doing and I was getting bored and, you know, had to figure something out, and, you know, I did something with that. I don't want to stop being a reseller. I don't want to lose, you know, all the years that I've sat here and gained knowledge, you know, and that's almost like getting a degree in something, working a job for 2 years and being like, I'm going to go back to school and get another degree in something else, you know, like that doesn't do it like that. You know, so essentially what I've been doing, you know, since we've been talking about, you know, that we're going to buy the house and stuff, that I was like, okay, well, I need to get away from eBay for a little bit. I need to, you know, start sourcing differently and focusing differently on, you know, other things and doing more FBA, because I don't want to move a bunch of eBay stuff. And I know how I am. Like, if I go out sourcing, I can source a bunch of crap. You know, like, and it'll still be here when 6 months rolls around and we're moving, and I don't want to do that. You know, so my motivation right now, you know, is really trying to expand and just do something different, because I was getting tired. I was getting burnt out. I don't want to part out another coffee maker right now. You know, I don't want to do it. It's boring. And when things get monotonous for me, I click off and I'm just like, done. And I don't want to do that, you know, because there's so many other opportunities. If you get tired of your product, there's so many other products. You know, just expand and branch out and learn something different.
Yeah, switch it up.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I will say about this business.
You know, a lot of people say, like, oh, I do clothes, but I only do it because, you know, it's the only thing I can find, but I hate it and it's boring and it's lame and it's this. I'm like, man, I don't want to spend my day like that. You know?
You know, that's one thing I will say about this business. I have a tendency to get burned out in everything I've ever done in life, and this is one business that, yeah, I mean, I'll go through rough patches like what I have for the last month, and that was more health-related and more kind of seasonal depression. I hate winter and that kind of crap, and, you know, but I know if I just, you know, get through this and go on, this is one of those few jobs that I have never gotten burned out on, because it's always, like Deb said, if you switch to something else or, you know, change your focus and go look for a different kind of home runs, and I mean, what other job can you have where you can potentially walk into a thrift store or yard sale and buy something for $1 and sell it for $100 or $50 or $500 or whatever, you know? And when you do that, it's such a freaking adrenaline rush that for me, it's never, like I said, I'll go through little rough patches, but the job has never gotten old, you know? And I know deep down in my heart, deep down inside, that if I just get through this, get my butt back up, do what I need to do, you know, checkbook's a motivator too. You know, for recently, I sat down and looked at mine last night and looked at the balance and looked at my 30-day sales chart for Amazon versus 3 months ago, and it's like this. And I was like, okay. And here's the checkbook, and I'm like, okay, it's time to do something. And it's like this. Yeah. And the checkbook's like this. And the kids are going, I need this and I need this. And I'm like, okay, this is my job. This is my responsibility.
You better learn to whittle.
Yeah. I was reading chat, guys.
You know, like I went today, and it was fun for me because, you know, it's so sad. But like when I told you Saturday I was coming back from San Antonio, and there was this giant thrift store, and I was going to go over there and look at stuff, and I was like, no, I have enough stuff. Okay, that's not me. That's not, I would have stopped. You know, I should have stopped, but I didn't because I was just like feeling really ho-hum about business. And so today, I went out sourcing, but I went out sourcing with an agenda. You know, and so instead of me being like, oh, I'm just going to look and see what they have, I had a direct agenda that I was like, all right, I'm going to find FBA stuff at the Goodwill.
Oh, Jesus.
And so that's what I did, you know, and I went to the Goodwill, and I only picked up like 8 things, you know, and 5 of them were ink cartridges, you know, but I had an agenda, and I stuck to that, and that made it more interesting, you know, for me than to do like I normally do, where I piddle around the store and I'm like, you know, and buy stuff.
But that's awesome that you stuck with, you know, the reason, you know, you stuck with the rule that you gave yourself.
Yeah.
And you went out the door and, you know, you made your rule, you stuck with it. That's awesome.
And that's, you know, that's the whole plan that I have. You know, I have, basically, I have a money number that I'm willing to invest in inventory right now, and I'm going to source pretty strictly for Amazon unless I come across, you know, an eBay home run, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I did buy one thing for eBay today, but it was $5, and it'll be easy to list. You know, I don't have to clean it or do anything to it. I just have to take pictures of it. You know, and I think that's a lot of the problem with my business is that it's really monotonous because all the things that I have, it's not just something that I get to take a picture of. I have to do all of this other maintenance to it, you know, and so that brings in a whole nother factor to business that, you know, other people might not have. And it's not even being motivated to list, it's being motivated to even deal with the crap that you have, you know, because I have to do all these other things with all of my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get to just buy it and list it.
I think that we need to address the time sucks thing. Like things that suck our time, things that...
Time does suck. We need to get rid of time.
Right? Right?
Yeah, time.
Terrible idea. But, you know, the things that, like, steal our time and steal our motivation.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just, oh, well, that's what's wrong. Lord have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
I'm talking to myself. Y'all just go ahead. I'm like playing with these things, and that's terrible, wasn't it? Yeah, sorry.
Why is everybody asking me what happened? What did I say?
Because you said, oh, Jesus.
Oh, no, I didn't know how long a lag there was. No, I just got an email from Amazon that said, please remove this product. This is a restricted drug, something, something, something. I'm like, holy crap. It was like a diet pill. It was like a natural diet pill that I sold out of like a month ago. And there's your lesson. Always make sure you go ahead and delete it from your inventory once you sell out, and don't leave it even if you've got a zero quantity. And I haven't gone through and done that in a while.
Catherine said, too, recently about doing...
Yeah. Because it's still considered
about that, because I used to leave stuff, and then when she brought that up, and I think you brought that up before too, about deleting things that you have zero inventory of, but they still consider you a seller if you have it in your.
And it's not. I mean, it's kind of a stupid price. Green coffee bean pills. I mean, I'm not really sure how green coffee extract is considered prescription. Somebody somewhere has flagged it, probably a competitor or something like that. But that was enough to scare me. Thank goodness the email didn't say. It just said, please remove this from your inventory. It wasn't anything that was like, we're going to suspend you or anything. So, okay. Yeah,
I got a negative today. A chick gave me a 1-star thing, and I was like, whoa, what? I've never even gotten like a 4. And, yeah. Well, Amazon sent her one of a 6-pack of eyeliner that I had, and I was like, I quickly messaged the lady, sent her an email, and I was like, I'm sorry, I have no idea how that happened, but I'm figuring out what went wrong, and, please do know that I will take care of it. I will get you, you can either keep that one and, I'll refund your money, you can keep that one, or I'll find what they did with the other 5,
Did
they open up the package?
Yeah, they were, dude, there was no way that the packaging was coming apart. And I had gotten the email that Amazon shipped part of this order, and I was like, why do they ship part of an order? I didn't pay any attention to it.
Were they, like, bagged?
Yeah.
Like, did you put the 6 together in a bag or a box?
I had the 6 bagged with, sold as whatever, do not separate. This is, yeah.
So you did put sold as a set, do not separate or whatever.
Yes. Yep. So I don't know if, like, the label, because I had some singles of that. No, I don't think I did have any singles of that color. I think I only had 6 of that color. So I don't know, like, did one of the labels come off in the packaging somehow? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What went wrong?
Do you use clear bags when you bundle like that?
Yeah.
Do you cover up all the barcodes on the 6 inside?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know why.
I had them the barcodes in and shrink wrapped, and then they were in a baggie.
But you don't put an FBA label on each one of the 6.
No,
and one on
it
the
was a
outside
6-pack.
where some warehouse employee would have got confused and.
No, it was a 6-pack. So there was the only Amazon label was for the 6-pack. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if did it come apart. Were they like rough with my stuff? I don't know what happened. So I'm trying to find out. Where the other 5 are. I mean, it wasn't that big a deal, but I don't want this chick giving me a 1. She's like, that was outrageous. I'm not paying that for 1. It was supposed to be 6. And I was like, I understand. I would have been mad too if I paid $10 for an eyeliner. But I'll figure, because she didn't contact me or anything. She just went straight to the, bam, 1 star. I'm angry. Gonna return it. So I haven't heard back from her. Hopefully she'll say something. Hopefully she'll reply and realize that. Or they even looked at it. So, but anyways, things that steal our time and motivation.
Let's just talk about things that suck.
Let's
1.
do that.
Number 1. Let's see.
I'm messing up my stuff.
Time sucks. Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I know why she was mad now.
I'm just flagging for spam, sorry.
No, it says misleading. The description says 6 each. That's why she got so angry. I forgot that she said that part. I gotcha.
Yeah, I got a 3 out of 5, which, as we know, a neutral on Amazon counts as a negative on your percentage. I mean, my overall lifetime still looks good, but it sucked my 30-day down where it looked really crappy. And all they said was "thank you" in all caps, and then they marked yes for arrived on time and yes for item as described. And it's like, and so I tried to get Amazon to remove it, and they're like, "Well, the customer didn't really break any rules." I'm like, "Well, it's obvious that they were happy because it was as described. It got there on time." And I even reopened the case and argued it, and they're not going to remove it. So I'm like, whatever. It'll die off eventually and fall off. Or I'll try again in a couple months. Sometimes you can get away with doing that. So time sucks. So what sucks, Deb?
Facebook. Facebook sucks.
Facebook and groups.
Get off of it. Close it down. That's all I can say. Just get off of it. I did really well yesterday. I unfollowed a lot of groups. I didn't unjoin them. I just unfollowed them. I got them out of my feed because this thing going on like right here, like this, what you do right here, that takes all of your time.
Well,
yep.
I'm kind of struggling with that because I do have a tendency. I'm prone to addictive type behavior. So, and I know that, and I tend to. And y'all laugh about me, like in some of the admin groups and stuff, because you're like, oh my God, where do you come up with all the time? You're always on there doing this and that, and doing this with the admin stuff, and it's bad. And I know, and everybody's response to me is, well, just turn it off and don't look at it. Okay, well that doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes you just like with, sometimes like with any kind of addiction or whatever, you just have to sometimes remove it. Just remove it if that's what it takes. And so I'm kind of re-examining some time sucks in my life, and I've got a lot of YouTube people that I watch on a regular basis. Nobody here. A lot of them are unrelated to reselling, but I don't watch y'all's crap. But
so you don't watch my stuff?
I'm just kidding.
I have like 6 videos, Dusty.
No, but I watch all these other, like Dragon's Den and what's the other one? Shark Tank and all that. And it's like, really, seriously, it's not. I'm just going to have to unsubscribe from a lot of things in life and put them down, and even hang out.
Somebody needs to tell Robert he just posted his show link, not the YouTube link.
Whoops.
Copy it.
I have never done
Everybody
that.
get in.
Who wants to be on the RP3 show tonight?
I have never made that noob mistake.
Ooh,
none of us
that
have ever made the mistake of posting the actual link to the show than the actual YouTube link.
Never done
I've never done that, I know.
No.
The mystery lady came into the reseller wake-up. She was just there. She's like, she didn't say anything. She's just hanging out. And Janica's like, who's this? I was like, oh my God, I posted the link to the show.
Like, are we having a special guest? Hi.
Why are all these people in here, and who are they, and where did they come from? It's good to meet you.
She just like came in and hung out for like 20 minutes.
So where did he post that at? I'm going to go find it. I'm going to be on both shows.
I think he was. James, go tell Robert to change his thing.
James, go tell Robert we're all coming over there. We'll be there in 2 minutes.
Wait, hey, guys, we're leaving. We're going to go on to the RB3 show real quick.
Tell him it's going to be the DD3 instead of the RB3.
We are coming to take over your stuff.
Poor Robert. It's okay, back when it happens to everybody at some point.
Right.
Like Danica.
Yeah. What? Wait, what? Don't pick on me. Okay, so we know, right, like, Facebook, I think, is one for pretty much everybody because it's how we're all connected, and nobody wants to be behind. Nobody wants to be the last one to hear about, something that happened or whatever. I have to click it off. Like, I have to close it out if I'm going to be near the computer. I can't have it on, and I'll, like, if I'm if the boys need me close by, but they're not, they're trying to do something on their own, but I need to be there just in case, to help them a little bit, then I'll look on my phone or something, just so that I won't kind of helicopter parent, or be like the helicopter teacher type thing. But I can't have it up, or I will look at it. I know me. I will do it. I can't help it. I can't help it.
That's me, and we were discussing before we came on the air. I wish there was a way, because I keep we all keep in touch a lot during the day. Different groups. That's what I'm talking about. Different groups of people we all keep in touch with, through Facebook private message. And the problem is, and Deb was just telling me before we came on, that's why my browser crashed, because I apparently hit the wrong button, but that there is a Facebook, like add-on for Firefox or a program where you can just see those PMs. Because I'm like you, if I have that Facebook page open with all the little messenger boxes, I'm going to look at all the groups, and I'm going to look all that. And, you get a big group like Gill Money or Resellers, or I'm not just picking on those. Those are the only ones I could think that were like over Thrifting Lounge, ones that are over 10,000 members. I mean, you got constant stuff being posted, and my eye is immediately drawn to that. And then I read one question, and the next thing I know, I get sucked down a rabbit hole. And so I can't even. I mean, I admit it, it's a problem, and I can't have it open.
I only read our messenger stuff on my phone because it only has, you hit the messenger app and it only brings up the messenger stuff. And I will only look at private messages on my phone for that reason.
What I've been doing is just, I think what's really important is, I know, there's people that are in a ton of groups, and I used to be in a ton of groups. I was in 10 or 12 different groups. But I think what's really important whenever you're making a decision about the group that you're in and whether it's worth your time and things like that is how does it make you feel in your day? Because I see a lot of people in groups and they're getting angry at the people that are posting things. Like, you see this whole little fight that happens, in the messages, and you're like, why are they even in this group? They're obviously not happy with the people that are, there. What do they just, and that's like their time suck. They're in a fight with somebody else in a group, but they're there every day.
But you can also get kind of a mob mentality too. If you let stuff start getting at you within any kind of group or like anything in your life, and then everybody else kind of gets agitated, it can build and build and build to the point where you find yourself getting frustrated, and then it's hard to get motivated for work, or it's hard to whatever, because you find, like I was talking to Deb and Danica about it last night. They're like, yeah, you've been kind of grouchy lately. I just thought it was the pain meds or whatever, and I realized, no, I've let myself get frustrated with certain things that aren't related to what I should be doing in life, and I just need to let those things go. And if that means removing them, or if that means distancing myself, if that's what it takes, then that's what I have to do. Yep. It's not anything big or anything specific. I just was letting a lot of little things get to me.
When you spend your time in the groups, you have to, and that's something that I've had to do, recently, was there's so much information there, but you have to make sure that the group that you're in is providing you with more information than crap. You know what I mean? Like where it's conducive to your, that it works for your time. There's certain groups that I'm in that I know if I go and I spend 10 minutes looking in there that I'm going to learn something that I didn't know before I started looking. So that's not a waste of time. That's an education thing. That's a resource. And then there's groups that I can go in and I know that if I go in that group, then I'm being a helper. And I'm not necessarily going to learn anything. I'm just going to help. And I think that's what Dusty has a problem with is the help. And that takes a lot of time.
It takes a whole lot of time.
And helping is free. So you can't make any money doing it.
I mean, I enjoy helping people. I went through a lot of, been through it all over the years, starting from eBay and starting from scratch and everything else. And I feel like if I'm able to help other people, then that's, something that I should be doing. But at the same time, it's when I don't know. It kind of reminds me of, like, I'm going to get religious here for a minute, but a lot of pastors, a lot of preachers get burned out because they end up spending their whole lives in, like, ministry, for instance. Because they feel like that's their calling, is to try to help people or try to pass on what they've learned or whatever. But you can also do it to the detriment of your family, the detriment of your business, or to the detriment of your health, even possibly. I mean, it's just you've got to draw a line and say, I do want to help people, and maybe the way I could help people is to share my knowledge through, like, this show, or X amount of hours per day and this certain thing. But when you're doing that a ton, and that's kind of where I found myself, because I enjoy doing it. but it just got sucked in further and further and further. And then I look back and I'm like, wow, I could have spent like the last 2 months while I was laid up with my ankle. I could have spent it listing my stuff that I should have been listing instead of falling down the big giant rabbit hole, and that gets kind of, I don't know, it's just, I've had a little epiphany lately, I guess.
I have to kind of ignore a lot of the posts because for me it's really frustrating because I love to help people out. Like, I enjoy it. But when you get so many things where, you try to help somebody and then they are just completely nasty to you for it, like, just really rude and nasty. And it just kind of puts such a bad taste in your mouth over the whole thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
I got so many of those in a row that now I'm, like, automatically defensive when I'm posting to help somebody. Like, I'm automatically on, like, bitch alert,
That was really good. Doreen just said helping is only helping when it isn't hurting you.
That's very good. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of times, like, in the groups that I'll start typing up something, and then I'm like, why am I even getting myself into this? Somebody else will come around and solve this problem.
Right.
I got, because we're running a business here, and if we were, under a boss, we would be fired for our Facebook usage,
True that.
They would be like, you are out of here.
I don't know. Like,
your social media is too much.
Right. Has Jeff already taken his Ambien tonight? Is that what's going on?
I don't know. He's talking about me and Alberta's round.
Did you just see that?
Oh, Jeff cracks me up. So,
Mike
Jeff
said, I love helping
people. On his Ambien.
Oh, he's not. He's just in rare form. Mike said, I love helping people too. I just like doing it on my terms. And I think that's where I'm trying to get to. Like, I do the reseller wake up, and, we've got the ladies group, we've got, I'm trying to help Deb with the 1500 group, and it's just, I'm trying to do those things, but I have really started cutting back time-wise on things. And it's like that. I'm trying to get to that point, like Mike said. I need to make it on my own terms and not just constantly available. Because I'm not.
But even a lot of people say, well, I'm watching the group, or I'm watching the YouTube videos, or I'm doing research, I'm trying to learn how to do it and all that. And I remember back when we were switching from Merchant Fulfilled to FBA, I found myself watching 10, 12 hours a day worth of whatever videos I could find on FBA, and then at that point it eventually did kind of become I wasn't on Facebook back then, so I didn't have any groups to go to, but it was pretty much all YouTube and a few blogs and websites that people had made. But then at one point I realized, okay, everything else I'm going to have to learn as I go. I can't spend a month. I mean, I honestly did spend several weeks doing it. I was like, okay, I've learned as much as I can possibly learn. I'm going to have to jump in. I'm going to have to make mistakes. I'm going to have to learn some of it as I go. I can't spend, if I don't start it, it's just not going to happen. I got to get in there and start.
Jeff doing OA on Ambien.
Trying to keep up with the...
He would never have a clue about where did this come
there's 45 boxes that show up.
It's all like giant M&Ms and...
So I'm going to take this opportunity to plug our new group because there's people in the chat that I see don't know about it. But I did recently start a new group. It's called the $1,500 Room. Basically, it's an intermediates group. There is no hand-holding in the group. It is very non-beginner. So, beginners are there. We know they're there, but they're watching. And if they post questions that don't belong in an intermediate group, they do get deleted. So we are trying. I'm at least trying, and we're trying. Danica and Dusty are helping me a lot, trying to keep it, very focused on building business and running your business and just going forward instead of time sucking.
I want to go ahead and say right now that I am working on a way to tell people that aren't quite ready for the group that they're not quite ready for the group when it comes to that, because not everybody is going to be ready to make that step, into that group. It may just be that you haven't been doing it enough, and it's more. I don't want people to think that it's an uppity thing. I don't want people to think that it's being like elitist or whatever, because it's really not. Our thinking is more that if you still need to be, in a more beginner-focused group, then you may see some things and read some things in a more experienced group that could not send you down the wrong path, but that you may not understand fully where it's coming from and what all is going into it and is behind it, and you could really end up hurting your business, your numbers, or whatever. So there is kind of a, I don't know the right word to say, level, I guess. And please, if you don't hit that, don't think that
it's not out of being.
We're not being nasty.
Out of principle of what the group is about. So,
right.
There we go. Now let's get back to something else.
No, and at the same time, if you're in a group that's an intermediate group and you need to be in a beginner group, you're just going to frustrate yourself with, it's what you may be taking a step too early. And it's like I said, you can watch too many YouTube videos, you can get in over your head, and at some point you just need to. You have to do, like with any of the reselling. That's what I've always had to do. You just have to do it in baby steps. You can bite off more than you can chew as well, and you might get frustrated. So whatever. So
it's not that we're policing it to keep out newbies. It's more, if somebody's asking a lot of questions that are that are saying things that clearly, that they are still in the beginner stages, that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. Then we may remove that person, but it's not like we're going to be like, how much do you make? How long have you been doing this? Show me your numbers right now. It's not like that.
And I've had people ask me that, like, well, how are you managing to make sure? And I'm like, no, it's not about making sure, because there are going to be resources there. It is a new group, but there will be resources there, obviously that come out that people can learn from, and I don't want people to miss out on that, but I don't want people to get distracted by a bunch of the same questions over and over again that we all know the answer to.
Yeah. And it's kind of, you have to understand that when you have answered the same question so many times, it gets really hard to continue answering the same questions.
That's a lot of time suck, I think, for us.
It does, and it really is. Like I said, it's not even a mob mentality. I always use that word, even though that's not the right
I got women.
It can affect the overall attitude of a group if you get the same questions over and over. It does tend to get, and as bad as that sounds, it can be a time suck, and it can kind of drag you in the wrong direction. It get frustrating. Did that come out right?
Yeah.
What's another? I wanted to think of another time suck that we have, and I think I brought it up when I was mentioning my items that I was getting bored with. One of mine is actually like prepping my items, and I think we talked about this. Somebody talked about it recently on how many times you touch your item. Like how often are you handling your product? Because I handle my product like a lot. I buy it. Mike was talking about it. About FBA. With eBay, it's like I feel like I'm moving these things around like 12 different times. Where I bought it, I took it from the cart, it's inside, I put it on the shelf, then I took it down, then I cleaned it, then I put it back on the shelf because I ran out of time. Then I brought it down, and then I took some pictures of it, and I took pictures of 20 other things, and then, I'm out of time, can't list it now, so I'll list it whenever I feel like it, and that might be a week from now. And, that was a huge time suck for me. It was my process. My process was just totally out of whack. And I think that's why I've been where, I'm changing my ideas of the products I want to handle, just because I know me personally, I can't do that process. That process doesn't even work for me, and it's my process. You know? And so I can't change the process because there's certain things that have to be done with the items that I was buying, so I actually literally just have to change my product.
Queen City Picker said a big time suck for me is people knowing that I'm home most days, and they'll call or stop by and say, "Oh, well, you don't have, well," and I'm adding this, "You don't have a job, so could you do this?"
That would be so hard. That would be so hard to deal with people that call you or knock on your door.
I've had a lot of people do that because I homeschool. They're like, "Well, you can do this, right?" No, I can't. I'm actually teaching my children, like especially when the boys were younger. Now that they're older and they can do a lot more things on their own, it's different. But no, I really can't do that for you because that's your thing and you can take care of it. You know, and sometimes you do just have to be a bitch or, you know, just be kind of grumpy and say, "No, I'm sorry, but this is what I'm doing." And one of the things, you know, for people that work at home is to set office hours, you know, and tell people, "These are my office hours. Don't ask me to do things during these hours. Please don't call me just to chit-chat during these hours," and then stick to it and make them stick to it.
I always think it's funny because, you know, Mr. Bill goes on lunch.
Oh, Mr. Bill. What?
He goes on lunch like at the same time every day, and I think it's really cute, but people like notice it, and I'm like, that's like his schedule. Like, that's like his work schedule. You know, like he's like, "Oh, well, it's lunchtime, I'll be back," you know, and then like an hour later, here he comes. You know, but he's at home. You know, I just think that's
good.
That's an amazing, you know, schedule. That's the way, you know, if you can say, "All right, I'm going to wake up this time and I'm going to do online arbitrage from this hour to this hour, and then I'm going to take lunch." I wish I could do that. That's amazing.
But that, you know, for a lot of people, like we have lunch every day at noon. That's just how we do it. We have supper, you know, supper's goes on the table at a few minutes after 6 every day. That's just how we do it. My kids work better on that schedule or on a schedule period. So that's, you know, that's what we do and that's what works for us, but it keeps us on task too. You know, they have certain school subjects that they want to have done before lunch, and that's just, you know, kind of their routine. That's how they, you know, like to do their day or whatever. But it also lets me plan my stuff too. You know, I can plan my stuff out because I know what they are wanting to do and knock out before lunch.
Jeff said our show is a time suck.
What?
He's always here though.
Dude, this is education.
Don't you have some tile to lay, Jeff?
He said he likes touching his items.
I've been watching all his videos, and he pulled up all the hardwood floor from his old studio. Or did he pull it up?
He pulled up half of it, and then...
Okay, because when he did the video of cleaning out the old studio, some of the floor was still there.
Yeah, he pulled up like half of the wood floor from his old place. I do have to bust out my neck roll on people sometimes, y'all. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes you just got to do it.
You know,
Hangouts. Snap in there somewhere. You never know.
Hangouts are a problem for me, and that's why I'll just disappear from a hangout. You know, if I realize it's sucking too much time. I was in one a good portion of the day today, but I actually worked and got 13 boxes total out to FBA and a poly bagged. I don't know how many, God knows how many items, and labeled them, which was more tedious than anything. But, you know, my problem is if I get in a hangout, and I'll totally admit this, if I get in a hangout where there's a lot of people that go, "Hey, look at this, look at this," I'm not always on that screen, and if I'm working and I can't keep going and changing screens, I may have Amazon open and eBay going and a bunch of other stuff, then, I mean, I can't multitask like that, and I get really, really easy distracted, so I tend not to get in. I mean, I hang out, I'm not going to lie, I hang out in a lot of hangouts with a few people that we just, like, sit and work, and nobody really talks. You know, it's like having somebody in the cubicle next to you at work. You know somebody's there, and if you want to say something or tell a joke or whatever, but I can't always do a lot of chit-chat because I get easily distracted, and I lose focus on what I'm trying to work on. So for me, working hangouts are tough unless they're like quiet working hangouts. Does that make sense?
Well, I like it. I like it though.
Like me in his hangouts.
I like it though when it's, you know, maybe like some music or something, or just people are just sitting there, you know, and it's like tape guns going everywhere. You know, it's just, you're not alone, but you're not being distracted either. And if you come across something that you have a question, ask your question. Everybody goes back to what they were doing. You know? Are you the music?
Mm-hmm. We can do Amazon, and you can box your stuff. You're not alone.
And sometimes I'm guilty.
No,
today I'm totally talking over her singing. And it's not on purpose.
It was supposed to be productive music.
I just got home and I jumped in one and I was really chatty. I wasn't working yet. You know, and at the same time, if I'm distracting somebody by doing something like that, I would expect them, you know, if they end up and leave, then I would totally understand. You know, it's not anything personal. It's just, I don't know, I kind of get in a zone when I work. Like, I'm the one that has, like, my YouTube playlist of 80s music, and, like, I'll have it in one tab, and I have all my hair band music going, and I just kind of turn it up as loud as I can without Tristan screaming from the other room to turn it down.
Dusty's, like, rocking out to Cinderella while he's labeling his FBA inventory. Did I out you?
Some Guns N' Roses and some Def Leppard and little Cinderella and
a little bit of poor.
No, I mean that's like my working music because I know all those songs from the '80s. I know I can actually like not have to fake the lyrics because I actually know the lyrics to the song. So modern music, I don't know the lyrics, so I just have to go, you know.
You got to listen to country music nowadays to have all the lyrics down because they're really easy and you can understand them.
Do you want to build a snow? Hey, Deb, why don't you tell us about that?
When I hated your guts and wished you would go away.
Deb hated me for the first month that she met me because it was like
he would just bust out, "Do you want to build a snowman?" You're like, dude.
And it was like September, October or something, and I was just in the Christmas mood. I mean, hell, they already had Christmas stuff out at Walmart in October, and so I was in the Christmas mood, and for some reason that song was stuck in my head for like a month, and Deb would do this thing in the Hangout. You'd see her, you know, she's always got her little computer over here, and you'd see her, she'd just turn and like stare at the screen, and I was like, okay. And you didn't speak to me for like a month. And then finally, after about a month, she goes, "Can I tell you something? Because it's really bothering me." I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And she's like, "I didn't like you at all. Like, I couldn't stand you." And I was like, "Really? That's awesome. Thanks."
Well, I thought she was talking about somebody else when she said that, because I didn't know your name. And she said that she was like, "I don't like Dusty." And I was like, "Well, which one is Dusty?"
Really,
you know? And then I thought you were somebody else, and I was like, "Oh, I don't like him either." But we were talking about two totally different people, and I was like, once I realized who she was talking about, I was like, "Oh, well, I kind of like him, but that's not who I was talking about."
Y'all can rest assured, I tell this I will never talk bad about you behind your back that I don't eventually tell you what I said about you if I change my mind about the way you are.
But it's only if she changes her mind.
And the awesome thing was I never could really quite figure you out from the beginning. And when you told me that, I was like, I have so much respect for somebody that would tell me that to my face. That's awesome. Right. That's really cool that somebody would just come out and say that. Like, did anything hurt my feelings? I was like, that's just like really awesome.
Well, but the way that she does it, though, it works. You know, it does. It's not like she's not going to make you cry because she's like, you know, we're okay now, but I really didn't like you at all.
I just don't like it for people to come back and to have something to come back and tell people. Like, oh, you know, Deborah used to say this and this about you. You know,
that's true.
If somebody does and somebody comes and says, I heard this, I'll totally own up to it.
Ew.
And they've been sitting on a shelf open, so they're hard. Because that's the only way to eat Peeps is stale.
People were talking about that, like they would make their Peeps stale and put them in hot cocoa.
That's what Tristan does. She goes to Dollar General and buys them, and then punches holes in the bag and puts them in the back seat of the car and leaves them there for a week.
That is so gross.
So they get hard.
Peeps are disgusting.
Those are actually hers.
Somebody said they like to get the chocolate ones. And let them get stale and then nuke them in the microwave and said they taste like s'mores. And I was like, I didn't even know there were chocolate Peeps. That is how, like, not up on my Peeps stuff I am. Deb does not like you, and Danica kind of does. No, we love Dusty now. I didn't know him. Like, I didn't know who she was talking about.
She's like, I hated him until I figured out who she was talking about, and then I changed my mind because that wasn't him.
I know. Well, I did. Yeah, I didn't. It was. I don't even remember who it was now, though. Who I thought Dusty was. I don't know.
There's a mystery man that Danica doesn't like, but we don't know who it is because she forgot.
No, I do that a lot. I forget. I think we all know that by now.
So I think we just time sucked an hour.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah.
So we're not a time suck, just so you know. We are like Uber educators. So your time spent with us will never be wasted.
Yeah.
Is that a money back guarantee?
I have no money. I'm poor.
You get what you pay for.
Exactly. You get what you pay for. That's true. Oh, I guess it could be money. Oh, I get it. I didn't get what you said. But I got it now. Does anybody have any questions? We haven't even asked you guys.
We did. We asked them to help us with the show.
Right. Nobody did.
Nobody helped.
Nobody helped. Barbecue peeps. Ah, God.
Oh, God.
That is disgusting. And bacon peeps.
That's gross. Okay, that's just gross. Speaking of bacon and Jeff Davidson, in the same sentence, I still have that bottle of bacon syrup that I bought from him off eBay. He's like, just pay me the shipping. It's bacon syrup. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because there's not a listing for that size bottle on Amazon.
That's for your coffee.
Ingredients: pure cane sugar, water, natural and artificial flavors, and salt.
Why would you put that in your coffee?
I think you would actually... No, you use it for cocktails, latte.
What cocktail should taste like bacon?
Thank you for coming to my party. You guys try out the bacon martinis. It's so good. Get you some of those little weenies over there on the toothpicks, too. They're so good if you dip them in.
That is gross.
Hope you don't mind. I slipped a shot of bacon syrup in your Bud Light. In
your butt.
Wow.
That just went down.
Giving away your secrets.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Nasty.
Wait, did what now?
What do we do? Are we in trouble?
I don't know. I got lost in the Uber educators. You drive us to school. Oh, shut up, Brian.
Good.
I don't know. I was trying to catch up. I can't keep up with you guys a lot of the times.
Comes alive with bacon.
I know, but I can't keep up with them. They go so fast sometimes over there, and I get lost, and it's like I have no hope of catching back up. I don't know. Okay, I hope that
we don't ever answer questions.
You got two bottles?
We just get people to think.
Yeah, no, I got two bottles.
Don't solve any problems.
I gave the other one away as a white elephant gift at Christmas, and my nephew ended up with it, and he likes to eat. And he immediately opens it, and he's like, this is good. And I'm like, okay, you take that back to college with you, and you enjoy that. I don't know what he did with it. I smelled it. I mean, it smelled like real bacon. It was like...
That's gross.
I don't think he watches
that's really gross. I was supposed to help my mom get on YouTube this weekend, and I forgot.
You didn't have your mom on the show.
I know. I love my mom. She would be funny. What the hell are y'all talking about?
Work, or is she retired, or what is her specialty?
She's a nanny.
We can have her. How does nannying work into reselling?
Oh God, my mom is like the reselling queen. Everything they have is, they get everything, like they barter for things a lot. They've been doing like buy things and sell it locally forever. They do that all the time.
Bacon syrup on pancake. That would be good.
Well, that's normal, but you've got that's like those syrups are for your coffee.
I had a ham, egg, and cheese crisp sandwich this morning. I haven't had one of those in a long from Burger King. It's good. Either that or the egg McMuffin's my favorite.
Gross.
Well, you know what? You can have the one without the egg and without the. You can just have the muffin.
I don't even know if I can have that. I think those have milk in it too. I can have.
Well, you can just watch me.
Like the wrapper.
I got nothing. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I really would encourage you guys that if motivation is an issue for you, to try the thing that I was talking about, where you really need to get down to the root of your why. You know, if it's just to make money to live, you need to take it deeper than that. And put it up on the wall, because it really is, when you look at it and you're sitting there wasting time, it really does make you kind of be like, oh yeah, I really kind of need to get my butt going, and you get going, you know? That's nasty. But that's all I have for tonight. So are you guys, any little nuggets of wisdom?
I got nothing. All I got is for that I share my struggles, and so people get to share them with me. They come along for the ride. I have some videos that I'm going to be putting out with my new, transitioning over to Amazon more, because a lot of my videos that I have now are very eBay-based, since it was 95% of my business. So I'm going to be doing, some new videos about, my transition over, and also, about motivating and just trying different ideas, and that's all I got for you. I got no solutions.
So you suggest, I knew that was coming from Alberto. So
yeah,
because my mind already went there. So
I'm still ignoring Alberto.
My tip is somebody that's going through it right now, it's having problems with motivation. I mean, what I found for me was just cutting off some things. Seriously, cutting off. If you've got bad habits, I mean, I don't play games on the phone, but so I can pick on people that do. I mean, I do. I have my own bad habits, but if you've got a problem with Candy Crush, or whatever the popular one is, or casino slots, or whatever the crap it's called, if that's becoming a time suck and affecting your motivation, delete it. I mean, just delete it. You can always get your level 57,000 or however the crap that works. You can get that back later. I mean, you have to remove some things from your life that are sucking your time and motivation out of you, and get back to the things that do motivate you. Making money.
I concur.
I concur.
I concur, sir.
Roger, Roger. We have clearance, Clarence.
Clarence.
What's your vector victory?
I'm not so curious. That's awesome.
Was that fun?
It's like one of my favorite movies. So that's it for us tonight. We will. Well, I will see you Wednesday morning. I don't know if Dusty will be awake, but Deb will probably be there.
No, I'm working on that.
I don't show up when there's guests normally.
Oh, that's right. Autumn's going to be there. Autumn will be on Wednesday.
I leave it for the guests.
And then we've got you guys know all the shows: Meet and Greet, Pickers Church, Eric's show on Thursdays, Reseller Wake Up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Our show every Monday. Our show on Sunday. I see what you were saying. So
not our.
Plenty of opportunities to catch everybody, and But that's another thing. Don't let these, don't waste the time that you spend watching the shows. Do something while you're watching the shows.
The last 30.
Right. We were good for the first 10 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. But have something that you can work on. Research an item while you're watching the shows. You can still listen and participate and have a little something going on at the same time. Just work on it. And if you have any nuggets of wisdom about motivation, put them over in the Profit Talk group.
I listen to one of the ones I like because they usually talk for about 2 hours and they're very interesting, even though I don't agree with everything. But that's here nor there is Scavenger Life. I'll put their podcast thing on and leave it playing on YouTube while I'm working around the room.
I do that too.
Because they've always got, I always learn something, and they're just, they're personable, and it's 2 hours of background noise and space filler when Cinderella's not playing. Poison, Warrant, Firehouse, Trickster. Guns N' Roses.
Skid Row.
Skid Row.
Oh, excellent. All right, guys. So we will see you Wednesday morning. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.
Bye.